Maybe we shouldn't have Halo stories for a while. At least not in the games. The books, yeah, sure. Apparently that trilogy about the Forerunners is pretty good, and that maybe there's some other ones that are good too. But the games, I think maybe 343 should just focus on giving us, I don't know. To be clear, I do want stories. I do want Halo stories in the games, as we've always had. Halo was made great and fondly remembered because of both story and multiplayer. You know, both experiences with co-op in the campaign and all this fun stuff you could do there, and experiencing the story. The story was great. And then on top of that, the robust multiplayer that we got with those titles. Yeah, that's good, but given that the current custodians have, what, had 3 tries? Who developed the Halo Wars games? I know nothing about them, but apparently maybe they're fine, but you know, that's not what we want. We want a first-person, like, mainline story Halo game that has a great story. And I'm not convinced, as is, I'm sure, the rest of you, that 343 know what to do about a Halo story. We know what they want to do. They very much want to break down the Master Chief as a character. They really want to go into, like, what makes him human. Yeah, I get it, and that's tempting, considering that the first 3 games don't go into it at all. And he is kind of a husk of a character, which is fine. He has always been a character of action. Like John Wick, an unstoppable moving force of winning. That has been the Master Chief. And like John Wick, how he is characterized is mostly done through his action, which makes him a perfect character for this medium, that is video games, where the story is done through action. So when any of the games try to take a step back and humanize him, it's done better in the... I've read a couple of them. I've read First Strike, is that what it was? It was a long time ago. First Strike and the Flood one, and Reach. And the Flood one, by the way, not that it delved too much into his humanity, but that one was just essentially a novelization of Halo Combat Evolved, and it worked great. Again, this was, at this point, maybe 2 decades ago, a little less than, when I read that. So from what I remember, like, his character growth or arc didn't really have a lot to do with that. Just like in the game, again, it was mostly just expanding, filling in the blanks, you know, what an adaptation would. I'm getting sidetracked. We love him for what he does, not why he does it. So with that in mind, and after having 343 just kind of not give us a satisfying story, listen, I have a lot of fun with Halo Infinite, I really do. And I'm not, like, I don't have to convince myself to be able to have fun with it. I genuinely do have fun with this game. Is there a lot of issues? Hell yeah. But I don't really just let myself get angry or get ruined by entertainment stuff that much. You know, I don't really get into the whole, a new installment of something ruins my childhood or my memory of some. Like, no, I don't really get into that. Like, I don't care. I still had fun with the original Halo trilogy, even though 343 has done what they've done the past 10 years. Like, that, they can't take away my memory of my enjoyment. And even still, with Halo Infinite, I do like it. I do like it. But the fun that I have with the game is not from the campaign. The campaign's unfortunately boring. Not to get too much into it, because there's a bunch of videos out there, I'm sure, that detail it much better than I do and just do a much better job. But essentially what it comes down to is that I think that the campaign is kind of boring. I don't even think that it's, like, necessarily bad. I think it's just boring. It has some fun stuff to do in it, like, you know, like, I love fighting the Banished. It feels really good to do that, but outside of that, I don't know, the sandbox, in a campaign, the sandbox only carries you, you know, so far. So given that I can have fun with a multiplayer experience from 343, I can. And they're not, like, you know, when they actually haven't done a terrible job at it before. Like, Halo 5, I remember, had some great stuff to it. Warzone was pretty cool. It was a highly competitive form of the Halo multiplayer, but still, it was fun. They proved that they can do something with it, as opposed to the story. So so go all in on that. Not necessarily like the competitive thing of the 5. I just with Reach, not Reach, with Infinite, if they can just for the next major Halo installment, whatever that's gonna be, whether it's Tatanka, and that's not even gonna be by 343, though you know they are helping with that, of course, but just whether that's or the Halo Infinite 2 or Halo 7 or whatever it's supposed to be. In my opinion, I think that it should just be a gigantic, solely multiplayer experience. I don't now listen. I know that's what is it? Black Ops 4? Was it Black Ops 4 that's only had the multiplayer? I know it's kind of weird comparing Call of Duty with Halo, but like that's the Call of Duty always has a campaign. And Call of Duty Black Ops 4, if I remember correctly, that did not have a campaign. It had kind of these like Spec Op mission kind of things. It wasn't Spec Ops, it was called something else, I think, but it kind of went into some of the characters a little bit. But in either case, it was not a traditional campaign. It was mostly focused on multiplayer, and it was the first one to have a battle royale, by the way, a Blackout, which people did like at first, and then it just kind of died off. And then Warzone, Warzone, Call of Duty Warzone came out, and then people just properly forgot about Blackout. I know that wasn't necessarily well received, but given the context of just what we've gotten so far from 343, maybe the next big Halo installment, just at the end of the day, I don't trust them to give me a good campaign experience. I don't really trust them to give me a satisfying story with Master Chief because, God forbid, they're probably just going to give us another tale of let's break down the Master Chief. They're so interested in breaking down the Master Chief, even in the show. And maybe I would have liked that if done well, but just after so many attempts of not doing it, just a big old focused multiplayer experience where we just get a lot, and I mean a lot, of multiplayer content. Pour all the resource into that. I think that would go over well. I would like that personally. Again, 12 years ago, no, I would not have wanted that. Of course I want a story to accompany a new Halo title. But given our reality, in the year of our Lord 2023, I don't think we're gonna get something good. So we might as well just play to their strengths, and their strengths seems to be, or at the least they are stronger in multiplayer as opposed to a story. And if there is gonna be one, if there is gonna be a story, let somebody else do it. I know it's so dumb, but just let somebody else do it.